A look at how the Israel lobby operates through one of its many agents. Stand With Us was founded and headquartered in Los Angeles in 2001. On its website, it states they are inspired by their love of Israel and their commitment to stand up for Israel. Besides its stated goal, which is to train students in communities to be advocates for Israel, they actively work to influence media and disrupt any narrative that is not aligned with their Israel First agenda. Take, for example, this email campaign from Stand With Us. Stand With Us has emailed Americans urging them to pressure CBS and 60 Minutes to retract the narratives of U.S. State Department officials who have resigned over the U.S. State Department's involvement in what several leading international institutions have labeled as Israel's genocide on the Palestinians in Gaza.
Tonight, meet the veteran State Department officials who quit their jobs over the U.S. government's support of Israel's war in Gaza. This is the scene filmed in May by CBS News in Gaza. Children on top of rubble playing with ammunition casings, the same casings used to prop up these tent cities. A close look reveals where they come from. Printed on the side, USA, DoD for Department of Defense. Across this now decimated 25-mile-long strip of land, America's stamp is everywhere.
What is happening in Gaza would not be able to happen without U.S. arms. That's without a doubt.
We've obtained daily reports Rarit sent to senior leadership in Washington containing gruesome images and her warnings.
I would show the complicity that was indisputable. Fragments of U.S. bombs next to massacres of mostly children. In one incident, I was basically berated, don't put that image in there. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see that the children are starving to death.
Who told you that?
A colleague.
A superior?
Yeah. I was told the contrary by others. Keep them in. We need to see it.
The U.S. has sent $18 billion in American military assistance to Israel since the war began, largely in the form of taxpayer-funded weapons.
Most of the bombs come from America, most of the technology comes from America, and all of the fighter jets, all of Israel's fixed-wing fleet comes from America.
Josh Paul spent 11 years as a director in the State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs, one of the officials in charge of signing off on major weapons deals to U.S. allies.
There is a linkage between every single bomb that is dropped in Gaza and the U.S., because every single bomb that is dropped from an American-made plane.
These Israeli airstrikes, you could say, are made in America.
They are.
10 days after the October 7th attacks, Paul became the first person in the Biden administration to publicly resign in protest.
After October 7th, there was no space for debate or discussion. I was part of email chains where there were very clear directions saying, here are the latest requests from Israel. These need to be approved by 3 p.m.
Expedited.
Correct.
Where were these orders to greenlight weapons transfers coming from? How high up did this go?
This came from the president, from the secretary, and from those around them.
Among the weapons Israel requested from the United States, 2,000-pound bombs, one of the most powerful in the U.S. arsenal, typically used to destroy large targets like weapons depots.
The Israelis were using those bombs in some instances to target 1 or 2 individuals in densely packed areas.
Andrew Miller was the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Israeli-Palestinian Affairs. He resigned last June. Miller has since become the highest-ranking Biden administration official to go public with his concerns about the U.S. role in the war.
The United States has supplied billions of dollars in weapons to Israel. What's the message the U.S. has sent to the Netanyahu government?
I believe the message that Prime Minister Netanyahu received is that he was the one in the driver's seat, and he was controlling this, and U.S. support was going to be there, and he could take it for granted.
In May, the State Department issued a report saying it is reasonable to assess that Israel may have used American weapons in violation of international law. Andrew Miller said the investigation relied heavily on Israel for answers.
We didn't exactly work very hard to try to acquire the information.
Does Israel get the benefit of the doubt from the United States when other allies might not?
Yes, I think it's fair to say Israel does get the benefit of the doubt. There is a deference to Israeli accounts of what's taking place.
U.S. law prohibits military assistance from being sent to countries that restrict American aid like food and medicine. Experts who track aid, including from multiple international organizations and the State Department itself, have found that Israel has continually blocked aid to the people of Gaza. We asked Brett McGurk, White House coordinator for the Middle East and one of President Biden's closest advisors, for an interview. He declined our request. Multiple diplomats we spoke with say the U.S. policy on Gaza has led to widespread dissent at the State Department. A rarely used method of sending cables to the Secretary of State, created during the Vietnam War so employees could voice objection, has received a record number of submissions over Gaza. 13 officials, including from the State Department, White House, and Army, have publicly resigned in protest.
What was the final straw that led you to resign?
I'll point out one moment that broke me, but this one, A little girl that had been killed in an airstrike. She has her princess dress, and she's in the picture, waving her wand with a huge, beautiful smile. And, I saw my child in that child.
Her name was Sana Al-Farah. She is one of thousands of children killed so far in Gaza.
How does this end?
It ends when Netanyahu says it's over.
In a study published late this past week, the medical journal The Lancet said the death toll in Gaza has likely surpassed 70,000 people. The war has led to charges of genocide against Israel and has been fueled by American weapons and billions of taxpayer dollars.
According to Stand With Us, The Lancet, an organization over 200 years old, that's 120 plus years older than the State of Israel, is unreliable. While U.S. politicians don't even debate whether or not the Israel lobby and many, if not all, of its factions should register as a foreign agent, Stand With Us is influencing and intimidating American students on hundreds of college campuses, high schools, and middle schools across the United States, and they are pushing their Israel First agenda.